Hi fans of high quality entertainment. Today I am ranking the Beatles album covers. I did a video ranking 2 or 3 years ago, but I thought I would do a fresh video on it, and my opinion might even change for a couple of album covers, just like with music. And I also realized today that I've been a Beatles fan for over 55 years. I was 5 years old when I saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964, February 9th, and then I turned 6 on February 28th. Time flies when you're having fun. Now, I'm just doing the UK versions of the albums, including Magical Mystery Tour, which I know was originally in the UK just an EP, but now it is officially known as a Beatles album, so I'm including Magical Mystery Tour. And for the US versions of the album covers, I was going to do them, and then I decided not to, but I will just say one thing. The Beatles' Hey Jude, which was a compilation of, some of their songs like Hey Jude, Revolution, Can't Buy Me Love. This album cover, it's one of my favorites, and I remember when I first saw this, I was thinking, oh my God, is this a new Beatles album? And then of course I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time it was cool to have Hey Jude and Revolution on an actual album. So, and that is from their final photo session. They look so happy. And I'd love your thoughts on your favorite and least favorite album covers, or rank them all in the comment section below. So, my least favorite of the 13 albums by the Beatles is Please Please Me. I love the group shot. It's just that all of the text kind of ruins it for me. But back in the early 60s, that's what they did. They plastered, includes the big hits, and stuff like that on the covers. Please Please Me with Love Me Do, and 12 other songs that aren't as good as the 2 big hits on the album. All great songs. I'm just joking, okay? I just woke up. Number 12, the Beatles Help. And it's okay. I actually prefer the US version of it, where they're standing on top of the lettering. And the story behind this is, at first the Beatles were posing so that, like, George was H, John was E, Paul was L, and Ringo was P somehow. And then the photographer didn't like the way it looked, and so they just positioned their arms whatever way. The Beatles for sale, they look so chipper. And it's actually a cool cover, because back in the early 60s, if you had a band shot for the cover, they're all usually smiling, their dorky smiles. But the Beatles look so serious because, they've been going through Beatlemania, and they look kind of worn out and tired from it. Or maybe they're just bored, or maybe they smoked something funny, I don't know. But it's still a very nice shot. And, the lettering, Beatles for sale, it's very small, so it doesn't ruin the cover. My 10th favorite is the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. Now, for me, I'm colorblind with the red and green, as some of you know, I keep saying it. But for me, it's hard on the eyes. It's like, it's too colorful or something, I don't know, because I do see colors. And I also don't like, now this is the US version, I know the EP version is much nicer. But for me, I never like it when they put the songs on the album cover. It just kind of, I don't know, kind of cheapens it for me at least. But I do love the middle photo of the Beatles and the lettering and Magical Mystery Tour. My ninth favorite is the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. I think they did a great job on this cover. It's a good cover. Yeah. It's a bit too cartoony though, so you have to complain about everything. The Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. It really captures the personalities of the Beatles, and they're making their funny faces, and I guess the photographer was trying to make it look, because it's Hard Day's Night is a movie, so they're trying to incorporate movement in the cover, and they did a fine job. My favorite is the back of George Harrison's head. It's like, I'm going to just turn right around and not show you my face. The rest of these I think are classics. Number 7, With the Beatles. And I was reading that there was something about the white space at the top, and I don't think the Beatles wanted With the Beatles or any of that on the cover. And they had an argument with the record company about it, and of course the record company won, I guess. But that would have been even more awesome if it was just that picture with no text at all. I'm sure it would have sold just as well. Number 6, which I think I ranked higher in my video from a couple of years ago. It was just such a contrast from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, where you could stare at the album cover for hours, you know, in the back and the whole package. And with this, it's like there's not much to look at. And but the embedded the Beatles on the original vinyl was so awesome, and then of course Number. So it's just great memories of that album cover. And you know, around this time, since Sgt. Pepper, there were so many really cool album covers, and the Beatles decided, I think it was Paul McCartney's idea, just a plain white cover, and it works. Number 5, Let It Be. Always loved that album cover. Of course, with the Paul is dead rumors, the background for John, George, and Ringo are white. And of course, Paul's. Now I'm colorblind, so is that green or red, the background? I don't know. But it's a dark background, so that's another clue that Paul is dead. Number 4. Any of these could be number 1. Rubber Soul. I especially love the way John's looking directly into the camera. It's really cool. And all the other Beatles are looking away. And this album cover, I think I ranked lower, but it's gone up in my rankings. I'm finally really appreciating it more than I did in the past. Especially for its time in 1966. That's a very, very original album cover. And Klaus Vormann did an excellent job. So number 2 and number 1, I was almost going to put a poll in my community to ask which one of these is your favorite. So maybe, I guess I'll find out in the comment section below. But my second favorite is Abbey Road. And they finally, just the picture. They didn't have to say the Beatles, they didn't have to say Abbey Road. And it's become one of the most famous album covers of all time. And finally, possibly the greatest album cover of all time, the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That is, I think that is probably the most looked at album cover in the history of looking at album covers. Don't you agree? And even now looking at it, it's like I'm not bored with it. It's still interesting to look at. And it just started having album covers be taken much more seriously. And so it is, I think, a masterpiece for an album cover. The album inside's okay too. Yeah. So that's it. That's my rankings for the Beatles album cover. So I would love your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.